changing your baby or laying them down for a fresh diaper, and suddenly their legs start going like tiny engines. Kick, kick, kick. Fast, hard, almost urgent. Maybe their faces look excited. Maybe it looks tense. Maybe they make little sounds, like they're trying to tell you something, but don't have the words yet. And in that moment, almost every parent has the same question. What is my baby trying to say? Because fast leg kicking can mean so many things at once. It can look happy. It can look frustrating. It can look overstimulated. It can even look a little alarming if you don't know what you're seeing. And that's what makes it so confusing. Parents are often told that babies are either just being babies or trying to get comfortable. But what if that explanation is too small? What if this movement is actually one of the earliest forms of communication your baby has? Before babies can use words, they use their entire body as language. Their eyes tell you things. Their hands tell you things. Their breathing changes tell you things. Their face tells you things. And yes, their legs tell you things too. What looks random is often deeply connected to how your baby is feeling, what their nervous system is doing, and how they're responding to the world around them. So when those little legs suddenly start pumping fast, the real question is not, how do I make it stop? The real question is, what's happening inside my baby right now? And once you ask that, you start seeing this behavior in a completely different way. Because the most common answer parents hear sounds simple, but it misses the deeper story completely.
Most people explain fast leg kicking in one sentence. They say your baby is excited, or gassy, or restless. And to be fair, sometimes that's true. A baby who sees your face, hears your voice, or recognizes a familiar moment may absolutely kick because they're thrilled. A baby who feels physical discomfort may also kick, squirm, and tense their body. So the usual explanation is not always wrong. It's just incomplete. The problem is that adults often want one behavior to equal one meaning. We want a clean translation. Kicking means happiness. Arching means upset. Crying means hunger. But babies do not communicate in neat little one single categories. They communicate in patterns. The same fast kicking can mean very different things depending on what the eyes are doing, what the hands are doing, what the face is doing, and what just happened a few seconds before. A baby who is kicking fast while looking at you with bright eyes, open attention, and a soft face may be saying, "I'm excited, I'm engaged, I'm ready." But a baby who is kicking fast while turning away, tightening their brow, stiffening their body, or building toward a cry may be saying something very different. They may be telling you, "This is too much," or "I need a change," or "I don't know how to handle what I'm feeling right now." That is why fast kicking is not a final answer. It is a clue. It tells you your baby's internal state is rising. Something is happening. Something is building. Energy is moving through the body. But whether that energy is joyful, uncomfortable, or overwhelming depends on the full picture. And once you stop treating the kicking as the whole message, you can begin to understand what infant psychology has been showing for a long time. Your baby's body is not just reacting, it is revealing their state in real time. And that's where science gets much more interesting.
One of the most helpful ways to understand fast leg kicking is through infant arousal state. That simply means how activated your baby's nervous system is at that moment. Babies move through different states across the day. Sometimes they are deeply asleep, sometimes drowsy, sometimes calm and quietly alert, sometimes active, wiggly, and on the edge of fussing. These shifts matter because movement changes with state. When babies are in a quiet alert state, they often look surprisingly still. Their eyes are open and bright, their faces are attentive. Their body is not doing too much. This is one of the best states for connection and learning. But when activation rises, the body gets busier. Arms start moving more, legs begin pumping, sounds increase. The baby becomes more physically expressive. That means fast leg kicking is often a sign that your baby is no longer just passively experiencing the moment. Their system is activated. They are participating in the moment with their whole body. Sometimes that activation is positive.
They recognize your voice. They know a familiar routine is starting. They see something interesting. Their body speeds up because excitement is moving through them faster than they can organize it faster. But sometimes rising activation means the baby is getting closer to overload. A bright room, too much handling, too much stimulation, a transition they don't like, or even a buildup of internal discomfort can push them out of calm engagement and into active fussing. In that case, the legs may move fast not because the baby is enjoying the moment, but because the body is struggling to manage it. This is why the quality of the movement matters. Smooth, rhythmic kicking with steady breathing and an engaged face often means the baby is coping well. Jerky, frantic, disorganized kicking with tension, irregular breathing, or turning away often means the baby needs a break, a pause, or a softer pace.
Here's the deeper layer. Babies do not only use movement to show what they feel, they also use movement to organize what they feel. Fast leg kicking is often part communication, part regulation, and part learning. In early infancy, the body is one of the only tools babies have to handle big internal experiences. They cannot explain anticipation. They cannot describe sensory overload. They cannot tell you that they recognize a pattern and feel a wave of energy before the next step happens. So instead, their body acts it out. The legs move, the hands tense or open, the face shifts. The whole system tries to make sense of what is happening. This is why fast kicking often shows up in repeated daily moments. You approach the changing table, you start unbuttoning clothes, you lift them into position, and suddenly the legs go fast. That may not be random at all. Your baby may be recognizing the sequence before it fully happens. Their body reacts to the routine. In some babies, that reaction looks like excitement. In others, it looks like a protest. In many, it looks like both at once, because babies often feel activation before they can sort out exactly what kind. Developmentally, this matters. Babies learn through repeated loops of sensation, movement, and response. Their body does something, the world answers, and their brain slowly builds meaning. That's one reason responsive parenting matters so much. When you notice the movement and respond in a calm, tuned-in way, your baby begins to experience the world as something that can be understood and managed. So fast kicking may sometimes mean, I'm excited you're here. It may sometimes mean, I know what comes next. It may sometimes mean, I need help with this transition. And sometimes it may simply mean I feel something big and my body is doing the talking for me. Once you see that, the goal is no longer to guess perfectly every time. The goal becomes reading the whole conversation, and that changes what parents should actually do in the moment.
So, what should you take from this as a parent? First, read fast leg kicking as part of a cue cluster, not as a single message. Start with the eyes. Are they bright, focused, and engaged with you? Then look at the face. Is it soft and curious, or tight and strained? Then notice the hands, the breathing, and the direction of attention. Is your baby moving toward connection or away from it? If the kicking comes with eye contact, soft sounds, smooth movements, and a generally open body, your baby may be saying, I'm interested, I'm energized, I'm in this moment with you. In that case, you usually don't need to stop the movement. You can stay connected, talk gently, and let the interaction continue. But if the kicking comes with turning away, facial tension, finger splaying, body stiffness, arching, escalating fussing, or a look that says the baby is losing control of the moment, then the meaning changes. That may be your cue to slow the routine down, use fewer words, soften your touch, reduce stimulation, pause before the next step. Let your face and voice become the calming pattern. This is especially important during repeated routines, like diaper changes, getting dressed, bath setup, car seat moments, or bedtime transitions. These are exactly the kinds of daily events where babies often show their feelings through movement. And the more predictable and calm your response becomes, the more secure those routines can feel over time. There is one gentle caution here. Fast kicking by itself is usually not the problem.
Context is what matters. But if movement seems unusually stiff, persistently one-sided, clearly painful, or paired with symptoms like fever, breathing trouble, repeated vomiting, or a cry that feels very different from your baby's usual cry, it makes sense to check with a pediatric professional. Not because leg kicking is usually alarming, but because parents should trust the full picture, not ignore it. And once you understand that, something powerful happens. What once felt confusing starts to feel readable. What once felt chaotic starts to feel like communication. And that brings us to the most reassuring part of all.
So what are babies really saying when they kick their legs fast? Most of the time, they are saying, something is happening inside me. Maybe it's excitement. Maybe it's anticipation. Maybe it's discomfort. Maybe it's overload. Maybe it's an attempt to stay organized in a moment that feels big. But whatever the exact message is, the movement usually means your baby is not silent at all. They are communicating the best way they can. And that should feel reassuring, especially if you've ever worried that you were missing something important. You do not have to decode every kick perfectly to be a good parent. You do not need instant certainty. What helps your baby most is not perfect interpretation. It's a calm curiosity. It's watching patterns. It's noticing what happens before, during, and after. It's learning your baby's version of body language one moment at a time. That is how confidence grows in early parenthood. Not because babies suddenly become less mysterious, but because you begin to recognize that their behavior has structure. Their body is giving clues. Their routines are giving clues. Their patterns are giving clues. And the more you notice those patterns, the less random your baby starts to feel. So the next time those tiny legs start pumping fast, pause before assuming. Look at the whole scene. Your baby may be more excited than you think, more overwhelmed than you realize, or simply trying to regulate a wave of feeling with the only language they have right now: movement. If this changes the way you see your baby's body language, stay with me. Because one of the most misunderstood baby signals is not loud movement at all. It's that sudden moment when a baby turns away, goes quiet, and tells you everything without making a sound.